Eileen, let's kick off with you, love. I mean, this is a project that's been around for nearly a decade.
That's correct.
Absolutely. And I just kind of wanted to know from you the design brief, how did that change over time?
It didn't really change over time, to tell you the honest truth. Working in Africa is a long process. We've got a saying, AWA, Africa wins again, in terms of getting the land sorted, getting enough dollars in country because they have to pay from the country. In this instance, it was very interesting because we saw when we started looking for sites, we saw the golf course.
Yes.
And we wanted to do this deal with a golf course that for a certain amount of money for a new clubhouse, we could take a portion of their land. It's a long process to get something.
So who
like that.
approached you on that? The actual golf course themselves?
No. The developer.
The developer.
The developer is Oasis Hospitality.
Okay.
And they are actually based in Lilongwe, but they are, Malawian based, I think, for Blantyre,
Right.
together with Blantyre Hotels, who's the operator, and they wanted to build this hotel in Malawi. So the way we kind of start working is you kind of visit the city, you go and look at possible sites. There are certain requirements. They wanted to be closer to city centre. They wanted a bit more in the open lung. So the golf course was absolutely set for this.
Yes.
But now it's a portion of land that has to be isolated.
Yes.
And there's financial deals, and the financial deals are in dollars, and there's not enough dollars in Malawi, and it just takes a while. So patience is a virtue, though.
Certainly.
The hotel brief didn't change as we went along.
Okay.
It stayed 180 key hotel.
Yes.
They wanted a conference center. They wanted second restaurant. They wanted a spa. So the brief stayed very much the same.
Right.
Once we had the deal with the golf course and they could give us a certain amount of land, the initial design that we did was affected by that, by the available land we could get. And you have to look when you design on a golf course, things like, the strike zones of the golf balls and how do you protect your building and things like that. So that was the only major change that we ever had in the design in 10 years was the site, how it's placed on
Okay.
the site.
So there was bulk available for you to build
Yes.
without affecting the course itself.
That is good.
Okay.
They had to change one tee box
Okay.
to make sense for us to get the amount of land and then, of course, a access road for them through to the clubhouse.
Right.
And things like that
Yeah.
had to be sorted.
And on the landscaping side, I believe, just reading through this here, there were trees that weren't cut down; they were
Yes.
actually moved, and so.
No, we didn't move trees in
Okay.
this one. We are very much biophilic designers.
Yes.
So for us, pulling in nature is incredibly important. And for any project that we're busy with, on the hospitality team, we try and retain as many trees as possible.
Right.
It does give the scheme a sense of completeness instead of sitting with these like little dinky 100-listed trees that only at 10 years gives you a good photograph kind of.
Exactly.
So we very much designed between the trees and retaining their.
And that would have also affected the interior design as well.
Yeah.
So you brought a lot of that sort of feel into the.
Yes, when the advantage, if I may blow our horn a little bit as Burgertman and Partners, is we have all the design disciplines in-house. So we've got architecture, interior design, landscape design, graphic design, urban design. We do everything in-house.
Right.
So the joy of that is when we start designing, we start by workshopping all the disciplines together.
Right.
As opposed to, as the architect, giving a fait accompli to an interior designer or a landscape designer.
Yes.
So they're very much part of the entire design process. So landscaping will say, we want to do this, and then there's like a little scuffle, and yes, and but it's a constant working together by the entire team to make sure that the entire concept, and the concept here was the oasis, getting in from this extremely busy, bustling city, and it's noisy and it's dusty and it's Africa. And then when you reach the golf course, emotionally and
Peace and
physically,
tranquility.
it's
Yeah.
that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And the entire team from landscaping, interior design, all work together on the same concept, same color palette. So
Yes.
it gives you this absolutely cohesive design.
Right. Sounds gorgeous.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic. It's going to be so beautiful.
So it's still in construction at the
It
moment.
is in construction. We are hoping to finish this year. It is, like I said, patience in Africa is a virtue.
When are you hoping to open?
We are hoping to open in the third quarter of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds exciting.
So it's
Hopefully you guys can go and have a room and seeing everyone's put in so much work.
Yeah.
Okay. So at what stage of the process did these folk actually, when did you jump in and actually start assisting with Aline as far as this project's concerned?
So it was back in 2023 when I hopped on the project and we're during the course of coordination. That's when it started. So I know Tabelo
Tabela was on before.
before me, so he has a bit of a background on how it started.
Right.
In terms of the coordination, it's since 2023.
Right.
I've been coordinating alongside with Tabelo on Lilongwe. So yeah, and that's all happening in Water's Construction Cloud,
Okay.
the clash detection.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that cache detection was quite interesting. I was reading up about that. I mean, there was something like, hang on, let me just see here. There were 14 disciplines involved in this project, according to the information I have. So it was quite complex, and you were dealing with a design team, architecture, interior, landscaping, interior design. So within that, now just explain to me the clash detection. What is that, for people who don't understand that? What does that actually mean?
So it's basically think about it as a digital eraser, trying to find different issues when two models are clashed together.
Okay.
So, for instance, if a pipe is running through a duct, that is typically what we call is a clash between two different, so mechanical and a wet service engineer. Or if it's a duct that's clashing with a structural column, and those are the type of items that we pick up. So this is like, call it the digital eraser before it hits to site. So in that way, when clashes are picked up, instead of it hit to site and that same clash is picked up and causes such havoc in terms of the budget, um, there's actually so much rework in done.
Yes.
So we use the clash
Eliminate that.
exactly
Yes.
before it hits to
Yeah. Yeah. Brooke, you want to add to that?
I think our team does an amazing job in that. Lal is with Borgman 4 days a week, and he's been assisting with many different projects as well. But I think it is quite instrumental that he can assist in that way and just help the team alleviate any rework or any demolitions that could potentially go on site. And so in that way, I think it also does save a lot of money, a lot of time as
Yes.
well.
Me as the architect so amazing about what Modena did for the project is, we're drawing now in the 3D environment.
Yes.
So the ACC is everybody is drawing in 3D on the same model. And with especially hospitality architecture, but I think any architecture, we don't want to see the engineer stuff. We just don't. It has to be behind ceilings. It has to be behind walls. It is not visible for the general public. It's bad architecture. It sounds so harsh when I say that. But in hospitality, you are serviced seamlessly. You don't see yourself being serviced. And so everything has to be hidden. So in a ceiling void, there is all the disciplines, the structural engineers there, the electrical engineer, the mechanical engineer, the wet services engineer, the fire engineer. Then there's electric, and then there's interior design because they want to push coffers in and out of this ceiling void. So what the team with Modena team is they, in a way, they the conductor of the orchestra saying, okay, now you are going around that side and you guys are coming around this side and you guys are coming in here, so that everything is behind the ceiling void absolutely seamlessly.
Yes.
And it was many, many meetings of putting the team together.
Sounds very complex.
It is incredibly complex. I don't understand it quite. I got my very high level understanding. But between Tubelo and Lal, and also setting up in this massive team, how do you draw, on which layers do you draw, who puts their stuff there, starting off the orchestra and then conducting the entire orchestra, so that in the end I can walk on site and not see anybody's services.
Goodness me.
It is.
Trevena, you want to talk about that? I mean, that sounds it sounds very complex. I mean, just the coordination of it and putting it all together.
Sure. Yeah, so obviously with the clash detection stuff, it's not just purely clicking and finding clashes. There's a lot of coordination that goes on behind the scene, like what Helena is alluding to. Right? Like literally we had 14 disciplines, but not just 14 disciplines. I think over 20 people involved in a project, right? And 5 different buildings as well.
Yes.
In a remote location. And not everyone is sitting in the same office.
Yes.
So we need to make sure that we put in a structure that helps the team communicate, understand where they need to design. Like what everyone has their space.
Yes.
Orchestra, right? So that part was a tough part in the beginning. I think we're setting over like 3,000, 4,000 clashes throughout the whole building.
Goodness.
But from 2021, 2022, we had consistent meetings, like weekly meetings with the team, consistent communication on each other.
So things got a bit easier
Yeah.
as you figured it all out. Okay.
Arrow is nice as well because it's a common data environment.
Yes.
Everyone is updating the information weekly. When we had our coordination meetings, everyone could see what the model looks like.
Yes.
Traditionally, people would pull out pieces of paper and try to coordinate on a polling table. And this really fast tracked the process. I think last week I sent an email from Lal to Lilian saying we don't need to have a coordination meeting. We're just sitting at 0 clashes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been a while now. That Zero clash.
That's wonderful.
But he needs to update me every week because everybody is so.
I mean, how much time in terms of weeks or months did being able to work with this tech actually reduced all the hassles that you would have normally had with
The reduction is on site.
it's on site.
It's on site because
So it's all in real time.
it's all in real time. So the contractor will call you, you're on site and you'll say there's a clash in the spa. And now you must know.
Yeah.
There's no clash in the spa. So Mr. Contractor, what did you do wrong?
Okay.
So it's a walk out to the spa and you look and you say, yeah, I can see your mechanical guy, your HVAC subby. Duct isn't in the right place because I know on paper it's perfect.
Yes.
So it protects the professional team.
Yes.
It protects the
But the
client.
professional team are also on this tech as
Yes,
well.
yes,
So
yes.
everyone
The
is
entire
on it.
The
Okay.
entire team is
Right.
on the
Okay.
team. Yes.
Okay.
So you know exactly where things should run.
Yeah.
There is no by accident clashes. Yes. And the fact that you can do it in 3D is so powerful.
Yeah.
It is and the peace of mind it buys you as the architect because the coordination falls under us when we the principal consultant.
Yes.
We are responsible for that
Of course.
and knowing there is 0 clashes, and that is and we do 2 clash detections. It's first fix, so everything inside the ceilings, and then second fix, which is the ceilings and the lights in the ceilings and the pretty bits. There's a massive chandelier hanging down, for example, in the middle of my reception. It's got probably 20 cords, and these 20 cords of the chandelier has to go back to the structure. So now I've got these lines going back and knowing I can put it there and I don't have a HVAC duct running through or whatever, knowing that at the end of the day, the professional, our design, the Burgertman design, is going to be exactly to our heart's content. And we're not set up with a fait accompli on site because something went wrong. The peace of mind is just
No, 100%.
absolutely.
And the developer, what role did they play? I mean, they must have also been pretty much part and parcel of this. Or did they sort of step out and just leave it up to you guys?
They trust the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think from the visualization point of view, so because the models were coordinated, we brought it into a different level
Oh,
of
yes,
visualization.
yeah.
So the client, yes, they could have walked through the BIM model, but the understanding of a BIM model is not necessarily there. So they obviously want to see the end product.
Yes.
So we brought what we call is a federated model. So federated meaning
Yep.
all disciplines brought into one model,
Yeah.
and we use technology like Enscape. With Enscape, where we could actually walk through
Yeah.
the entire site into the building
Yeah.
and having the client to see what the space will look like, what the possibility of the materiality is.
Is it like a fly through?
It's almost like a flat.
But you do it in real time.
In real time.
And so you are there and you say, I want to look left, or I want to look right, or take me through here. And Lyle then drives. I don't know what he drives.
At the moment, I was feeling like I was Google Maps.
Oh, so, and that's also very powerful, because not a lot of clients can read plan sections. They can normally read perspectives,
Yes.
but we don't do perspectives of each and every room. We will do a couple
Yes.
for them to see actually what it's going
What it's going to look like. So there's want to see the pretty pictures, kind
Yeah,
of, you know,
yeah.
that sort of thing. And being able to put that together, I mean, technically that must also be quite a process, right?
Yeah, so to explain the process, so we have the clash detection in ACC as a common data environment, and then we took that to a step further on having like a Revit model that has all disciplines into this federated model.
Okay.
So call it like a container model, and thereafter we take that information, put it into Enscape, and then we start the walkthrough. So while clashes are being resolved, the federated model gets updated, and that reflects in Enscape. So, like for example, if the client before the client actually sees a clash between two disciplines where a duct is clashing with a column or the chandelier, like Helen said, that is resolved in the background. That gets updated in the federated model, call it the final, and thereafter in the walkthrough.
And then the actual, yeah. And did you use things like Hollow Builder on site so that you know, no.
No, not at this stage, not at this project. Yeah.
Not, eh?
No.
And the reason for that?
Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So data, Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The problem is one sheet. What?
But if the Wi-Fi was good, you would have used that.
So we would have definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, interesting. And just talk to me about the local folk that you used in Malawi. I mean, were they up to speed with the BIM, and who did you use? Was it a local contractor?
Yes, the
what?
contractor is local. The
Right.
contractor is SR Nicholas, who is a Malawian-based company.
What are they called?
SR Nicholas.
S.R. Nicholas. Okay.
Fantastic. They are Italian in heritage. Really fantastic.
Oh, they know how to build those guys.
Yes, wonderful all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they unfortunately decided not to take the ACC build program to our detriment. So next time we'll buy it for them. And we are using it on another project, which works fantastic for the main contractor. Our local partners were not so involved in the BIM processes. The technology isn't quite there.
Okay.
So more of a 2D environment
Right.
than the full 3D environment. But I think they enjoyed being part of the process
Yes.
and seeing what it can do.
What it's capable of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Local craftsmen in terms
Very
of
much so.
very much so. Just chat
Very
to me about that.
So in building in the rest of Africa, you can't set up your contractor for failure. So things like, unless you import everything.
Yeah.
But for the client, being part of the local community and supporting the local community was a very important aspect.
Yes.
So it was a couple of site visits to see what the local community can do.
Yes.
What kind of building are they good at?
Right.
Knowing that they, for example, they don't have lintels in Malawi. A lintel that you put over a window, they don't have that.
They don't. So
They don't.
so what do they use?
They use a concrete beam.
Okay.
So in situ cast concrete beam.
Yes.
So building typologies that we take for granted is very much not there. So casting things around a curve. They don't have the concrete pans that you cast a slab on. In Malawi. They build it out of wood. So it is, you have to, as the architect, keep your lines very simple.
Right.
You have to honor what they can do, not set them up for failure.
Okay.
But where they are incredibly strong is in their arts and crafts.
Right.
So in terms of interior design, landscape design, the celebration of the Malawian arts and crafts,
Yes.
we went absolutely fertile.
Okay.
From fabrics to every room, for example, has got Malawian art in. It's a combination of walking sticks and these carved fishes and carved little cars and whatnot. So not one room looks like the room next door.
Right.
Every room has got its own art in. So it's millions and millions of rands that we are
Yes.
pushing into the local economy
Brilliant.
by support.
How'd you go about sourcing all this?
Trips.
Trips. Lots of trips.
Travel a lot. That was a 10-day trip in Malawi.
Right.
Through the entire region, right around the lake.
Okay.
Going to find the best artists, best market.
Right.
We have 2 water features with massive sculptures in. That was another whole process of interviews.
Yes.
The maquettes are being made, also local artists.
Yes.
We've got artist walls out in the garden.
Right.
Depicting the natural history of Malawi or the natural scenes of Malawi. Also artists. It's you
Fantastic.
travel.
Well, I'm looking for an invitation.
It's the best country, right? They call it the warm heart of Africa.
Yes,
Really
yeah.
blind.
Is this your first African project?
No.
Oh, you've done others?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
one of my absolute favorite countries
Right.
to travel in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of Medina, I mean, you've done other stuff in Africa as well, hospitality and other jobs. Just explain your sort of African roots and the work that you have done and are doing up in Africa.
I say our clients take us into Africa, and we've worked on hospitals, right? Hospitality as well. There's some residential projects that we're doing up just in Sadek region with Bochitman as well, right? And so there's a nice big one that's happening now. Can't really mention it. And it's a big one. Almost there's like 200 people involved in that development. Wow, in up north in Africa. But as you said, it's a knowledge gap that we always experience.
Yes.
Right. So there's a huge opportunity in the rest of the continent to just get everyone caught up with how we're working here in the south.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And do you think that process is kicking in? I mean, slowly but surely the folk up there are sort of buying into this technology.
It is kicking in. Everyone is aware of it.
Yes.
The problem is, I don't want to put anyone down, but the partners still drop off software. So people pick up the solutions and think they can just run with it.
Yes.
But without doing the actual training and setting up the correct processes. But through collaborations like this with Vorgetman and stuff, the guys are picking up where the gaps are.
Yes.
And they're willing to invest in training to get themselves upskilled and working properly.
Right.
And the problem is if you don't upskill or set yourself up, well, you get cut out of the game as well.
Exactly.
And this, you did ask the way the developers is for us. It is one of our first conversations with any developer is we are running this in a BIM 360 ACC environment and everybody in the team has to be on that. Because having one person on a separate product, it is, it's absolute enough.
That's right.
So they and getting the developers excited by doing things like these walkabout, seeing what the programming can do, knowing how easy, well, site is never easy in Africa, but how much drama can you prevent
Exactly.
by doing this? You
Yes.
know, we are slowly but surely getting the developers there where they are fully committed to the ACC environment.
And just to add on what you Gillian mentioned, I think once the team, the consultants see the value on the process working in one common data environment, instead of downloading a model or taking off your server, we transfer, and there's just a loss of communication
Yeah.
and collaboration.
There's too much fragmentation.
Correct.
Yes.
And it causes such chaos. So to less chaos, we just bring everyone together and let's work collaborative.
Yes.
So like for this entire process, I always kind of define it as with 3 C's, which is collaboration, communication, and coordination. So that is kind of like the crux of of our process. And with that, the teams get to see the value in using or adopting things like Autodesk Construction Cloud using clash detection. So it's no longer like your 2D, like the guys mentioned that your 2D coordination, taking that and transfer it into a different, call it multiverse. Yeah. So, yeah.
I'm with you. Absolutely. But this also helps whoever's going to run this hotel now, the operators, the building management, the facilities manager, and so on and so forth. Are these drawings? Is this available to them as well, so that they can make?
Not at the moment.
Not.
It is not part of our current appointment, but it is very much possible, and we do see in South Africa
Yes.
that they requested as part of a
Correct.
national appointment.
Okay. Yeah.
Now Malawi is still
So. Absolutely.
But just to add on to that, right? When you start a project like this, you start off with a principal agent and a developer, right? When they start and kick off projects similar to Lilongwe, they would have been given requirements to operate the building. Right? So when we set up the team to collaborate in this environment, they're collaborating in line with what needs to get handed over to run the building for the next 25 years.
Yes.
Obviously, there's some contractual things that need to be agreed on before then, but ideally, most projects take a full cycle and then back to the operator. They grab the BIM data,
Yes.
and run the building.
I'm with you.
So the opportunities there, the data that we have on Lilongwe.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's there.
Everything is there.
It's there.
Everything is there.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there scope for further additions over a period of time, or is that it? I mean, that's.
No. We do have a piece of open land
Oh, you do.
to
okay.
either add a form of a service department, and they are in current discussions with the American Embassy possibly on that, or even just expand the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because 180 keys, I mean, that's a sizable hotel.
It is a sizable
Yeah,
hotel.
okay.
Yeah. But I think service departments are doing extremely well in rest of Africa at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm inclined, like, if
Agree.
I had my crystal ball,
Yes.
using that is what is.
Yeah. Okay. No, fantastic. Guys, is there anything else that you want to add? I think we've covered quite a lot in terms of what we needed to discuss on this project. Was there anything else? We've done the walkthroughs, we've done the clash detection, your role, we've done the federated BIM model, the innovation, we've covered all your stuff. The one thing I didn't ask you was on the sustainability side. Maybe you just want to touch in terms of, is there a green star associated with this?
We're doing a lead certificate for that, and obviously we had to.
Is it a before build, after build?
No, it's a before.
It's a before.
It's a before.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have been using what, green ink? No, is it that green ink? Can't remember the name. Give me a second. Solid green. Solid green. Marlus. Marlus and team has been on the project with us. So unfortunately, architecture wasn't so involved. It was one of those decisions that the client took a little bit late in the day
Okay.
that he wanted this. So we had to kind of backtrack a little bit. But yes, we're getting our certification. Everything is sorted. Doing our water saving and
Yes.
all of the bits and bobs.
Solar and all that.
Solar.
Okay.
Well, a little bit of solar, not called solar. But everything is there for our lead spray certification. Yeah.
Sounds fantastic. Great. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Good. Everyone's smiling.
I just want to know on that side of the table. Did we say what we needed to say?
Super, guys. Thank you. No, that was great. That was so interesting.